All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is Sunil Verma. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Arogya Van and Arogya Kutir at Kevadia in Gujarat today. Finance Ministry extends income tax exemption under LTC cash voucher scheme to non-central government employees. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar stresses need for diversification and resilience of supply chain in the post-COVID world. Pakistan Minister admits Islamabad's role in Pulwama terror attack. US economy registers a record growth of 33% in third quarter of current fiscal. And in IPL cricket, Chennai Super Kings beat Kolkata Knight Riders by 6 wickets in Dubai. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be on a 2-day visit to Gujarat from today. He will pay tributes to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel at the Statue of Unity near Kevadia in Narmada district tomorrow on the occasion of the 145th birth anniversary of this great leader. Prime Minister Modi will also pay homage to former Gujarat Chief Minister Keshubhai Patel at 10 a.m. in Gandhinagar today. At 12 noon, he will inaugurate Arogya Van and Arogya Kutir at Kevadia. Later, he will inaugurate Ekta Mall and Children Nutrition Park. Mr. Modi will then inaugurate Jungle Safari and Geodesic Dome Aviary and lay the foundation stone for various projects before reaching the Statue of Unity. More from our correspondent.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will pay the floral tributes to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel at the Statue of Unity on his birth anniversary tomorrow. He will also participate in Ekta Divas Parade by Central Armed Forces and Gujarat Police to be held on the occasion of Rashtriya Ekta Divas. After his address, Prime Minister will interact with the civil service probationers through video conferencing. These probationers will join him from the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration at Mussoorie in Uttarakhand. He will also launch country's first seaplane service between Kevadia and Ahmedabad riverfront. Prime Minister will also inaugurate series of development projects at the Statue of Unity complex during his 2-day visit. These include the Sardar Patel Zoological Park, Ekta Mall, and the boat service between the Statue of Unity and Shresth Bharat Bhavan. He will also inaugurate Children Nutrition Park and Unity Glow Garden. Around 30 lakh LED lights have been used to illuminate the garden during the night. Prime Minister will also inaugurate the illuminated Cactus Garden and Ekta Nursery. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, CCEA, has approved the mechanism for procurement of ethanol by public sector oil marketing companies under the Ethanol Blended Petrol Program. Briefing media in New Delhi, Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar said, earlier there used to be one rate for ethanol, but now there will be different prices. He said the new price fixed for ethanol produced from sugar will be 62 rupees 65 paise per litre. Ethanol manufactured from B-heavy molasses will be 57 rupees 61 paise per litre and ethanol manufactured from C-heavy molasses will be 45 rupees 69 paise per litre.
पहले एक ही रेट होता था इथेनॉल को, लेकिन इथेनॉल चूंकि अलग अलग मोलासिस से बनता है या शुगर से भी बनता है, इसलिए जिस प्रक्रिया से बने हैं उसके आधार पर कीमत देने का काम मोदी सरकार ने शुरू किया और दाम भी बढ़ा दिए। इन दोनों का परिणाम ये हुआ कि 2014 में जहां केवल 38 करोड़ लीटर इथेनॉल ऑयल कंपनियों के पास आता था, पिछले साल 195 करोड़ लीटर आया, यानी लगभग 5.5 गुना ज्यादा।
Additionally, GST and transportation charges will also be payable. Oil marketing companies have been advised to fix realistic transportation charges so that long-distance transportation of ethanol is not disincentivized. The government has implementing Ethanol Blended Petrol EBP program wherein OMCs sell petrol blended with ethanol up to 10%. This program has been extended to the whole of India except Union Territories of Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep Islands with effect from 1st of April 2019 to promote the use of alternative and environment-friendly fuels. Mr. Javadekar said the CCEA has also approved extension of norms for mandatory packaging in jute materials. He said 100% of the food grains and 20% of sugar shall be mandatorily packaged in diversified jute bags.
Government has taken two decisions that 100% food grains will be packed in jute and 20% of sugar will be packed in jute. This is a big decision to give boost to the demand of jute in years to come. I am very sure with this guarantee of government and with rising import duties on the imported jute, the farmers will benefit. And we have already undertaken program of eye care where productivity and the quality of jute crop will also improve.
Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat said the CCEA approved externally aided dam rehabilitation and improvement project DRIP Phase 2 and Phase 3 with the financial assistance of the World Bank and Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank to improve the safety and operational performance of selected dams across the whole country, along with institutional strengthening with system-wide management approach. The project, worth 10,211 crore rupees, will be implemented from April 2021 to March 2031 in two phases.
जिन तीन विषयों के बारे में निर्णय हुआ उसमें से एक विषय बांधों की सुरक्षा और बांधों के ऑपरेशन मेंटेनेंस को लेकर के एक योजना जिसको डैम रिहेबिलिटेशन एंड इम्प्रूवमेंट प्रोग्राम फेज 2 एंड 3 मंजूरी दी गई है। 10 साल की ये परियोजना 2 चरण में होगी जिसकी अनुमानित लागत 10,211 करोड़ रुपए होगी। दोनों ही योजनाएं 4-4 साल की हैं, लेकिन 2-2 साल का ओवरलैपिंग पीरियड इन दोनों योजनाओं में रहेगा।
The share of external funding is 7,000 crore rupees of the total project cost, and balance 3,211 crore rupees is to be borne by the concerned implementing agencies.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has said the pandemic has laid bare the economic consequences of geopolitics and the risks associated with attempts at concentration of power. Speaking at IFRI in Paris on India's foreign policy in the post-COVID world, Dr. Jaishankar said the pandemic has also highlighted the importance of ensuring supply chain diversification and resilience. He said the world needs more trusted and capable players now, and India fulfills both the attributes. The minister said India has always been guided by its ancient philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Even during the pandemic, India ramped up its pharmaceutical production, especially of hydroxychloroquine and paracetamol, to respond to the growing global demands. Dr. Jaishankar said India supplied medicines to 150 countries, more than half on a non-commercial basis. The minister said that despite the pandemic, India has dealt with the worst crisis in decades on the border with China. He said the country has done so with firmness and maturity. Dr. Jaishankar said that at the same time, India has continued to ward off terrorism from across the western border. The government has decided to extend the income tax exemption available under Leave Travel Concession or LTC cash voucher scheme to non-central government employees also to boost consumer spending. Non-central government employees will include employees of state governments, public sector enterprises, banks and private sector. The move will allow non-government employees also to claim tax-free cash allowance from their employers if an LTC scheme similar to one in the government sector is included in their working contract. The goods and services should be purchased only from GST-registered vendors through digital mode. Employees should make this payment during October 12, 2020 to March 31, 2021. The government on the 12th of October announced giving out cash vouchers to central government employees this year in lieu of LTC fare, which could be spent only on buying non-food items with GST rate of 12% or above. Talking to AIR News, former ICAI President Naveen Gupta said,
It is a good provision because it is going to spur demand, which is required at this point of time. This is a good measure by the government. This is going to push in virtuous circle in the economy by which demand would be created. Industries are going to able to sell their products and it would motivate them to further make investments instead of flowing back their profit, make capex expenditure. This is going to further improve the employment in the economy.
The government has banned exports of onion seeds with immediate effect. In a notification, Directorate General of Foreign Trade, DGFT, announced about prohibiting the export of onion seeds. Earlier, the export of onion seeds was in the restricted category. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal said, ensuring the availability of onion at affordable prices for consumers, the government under Prime Minister Narendra Modi has banned export of onion seeds. India has exponentially scaled up its testing capacity from 1 in January to more than 10 crore 65 lakh COVID tests at present. In a tweet, the Health Ministry said, the very high testing has resulted in the continuously falling positivity rate. Presently, the positivity rate is 7.54%. The ministry said aggressive and targeted testing has proved very effective in early identification, isolation and early hospitalization. This has also kept the new numbers within manageable limits and the deaths low. A total of 5,739 new confirmed cases of coronavirus infection were reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to over 3,75,000. The Delhi government said that over 3,38,000 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. In the last 24 hours, 4,138 people recovered and 27 deaths were reported in the national capital, taking the toll to 6,423. Presently, the total number of active cases in the national capital is 30,952.
Karnataka is showing steady improvement in COVID-19 situation in the last 28 days. The positivity rate has dipped to 3.99% and the case fatality rate to 1.11%. With a healthy recovery rate of 90.2% yesterday, those discharged after recovery from the viral infection has increased to 7,41,219. The active cases have reduced from 1,10,412 to 68,161. The state reported 4,025 fresh cases yesterday, thereby taking the COVID tally to 8,16,809. In Odisha, the COVID-19 recovery tally has increased to 2,72,038. The state reported recovery of 1,908 patients yesterday as against 1,617 fresh cases. The cumulative COVID-19 positive cases in the state have gone up to 2,87,099.
COVID-19 recovery in Odisha continues to track the upward trajectory for the last few days. The positivity rate too has dwindled down to 6.43%, leading to a significant fall in active cases down to around 15,000. Added to this feel-good scenario is the increasing number of home-isolated patients, which has uploaded the pressure on the COVID care institutional arrangements in the state. However, without taking any chance, the state government has extended the validity of the MOUs it has signed with several private healthcare institutions by another period of 3 months till the end of this year. Girish Chandra Das, Bhubaneswar.
In Tamil Nadu, COVID-19 situation continues on its downward spiral, with the active caseload declining to less than 25,000. In the last 24 hours, the new infections are recorded to be 2,652 people, including 756 in Chennai. More from our correspondent.
Most districts in Tamil Nadu have reported more number of recoveries from COVID-19 than the new cases. The State Health Minister Dr. C. Vijay Bhaskar told reporters in Chennai yesterday, dengue preventive measures are being carried out jointly with anti-COVID activities. Normally, every year during the onset of the northeast monsoon, the state used to see a growing number of dengue and chikungunya cases. But this year, he said, the number is 15 times less than last year. Meanwhile, the State Health Department has mandated all private diagnostic laboratories to report cases of lung involvement to it as part of its COVID control strategy. It has also warned the private labs not to conduct antigen-based COVID tests as it is less reliable compared to the RT-PCR method. Jai Singh, AER News, Chennai.
Gujarat recorded 987 new cases during the last 24 hours. The recovery rate has crossed the 90% mark. Gujarat has recorded 1,71,040 cases till now. Out of these, 1,54,078 patients have recovered. 1,083 patients recovered during the last 24 hours. Recovery rate has reached up to 90.08%. More than 59,50,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date. Maximum 213 new cases were reported from Surat, while Ahmedabad recorded 171 new cases. At present, total active cases in the state are 13,254, out of which 61 patients are on ventilator. 4 patients died yesterday, taking the total deaths due to COVID-19 up to 3,708.
In Bihar, COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 95.55%. This is 4.55% more than the national average. The number of active cases in the state is continuously declining. Currently, 8,884 patients are undergoing treatment at various hospitals. 1,068 patients have recovered in the last 24 hours, while 783 new cases were reported. Over 2,05,385 patients have recovered so far from the infection in the state. Veteran film director Imtiaz Ali says this is the time to move ahead in life while safeguarding oneself from coronavirus. Talking to AIR News, he said one has to follow COVID-appropriate behavior in order to keep everybody safe.
पहले जब कोरोना आया तो सबको लगा शेर आ गया है और सब हम लोग भाग करके पेड़ों के ऊपर चढ़ गए जान बचाने के लिए। बाद में पता चला कि ये शेर तो जाने का नाम ही नहीं ले रहे, तो नीचे ही लेटा और दुनिया भी चलनी है, चीजें आगे भी बढ़नी है। तो अब समय है इस कोरोना के इन्फेक्शन से बचते हुए अपनी जिंदगी को आगे बढ़ाने। आपको हाथ धोना है, आपको 2 गज की दूरी रखनी है, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग करनी है, ये सारी बातें आपको पता है। मेरी इल्तिजा आपसे सिर्फ ये है कि अपना ख्याल रखिए, क्योंकि अपना ख्याल रखेंगे तो अपने घर वालों को भी आप इस इन्फेक्शन से बचाएंगे और आपका भी काम चलेगा और देश भी आगे बढ़ेगा।
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Arogya Van and Arogya Kutir at Kevadia in Gujarat today. Finance Ministry extends income tax exemption under LTC cash voucher scheme to non-central government employees. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar stresses need for diversification and resilience of supply chain in the post-COVID world. Pakistan Minister admits Islamabad's role in Pulwama terror attack. US economy registers a record growth of 33% in third quarter of current fiscal. And in IPL cricket, Chennai Super Kings beat Kolkata Knight Riders by 6 wickets in Dubai. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
News Services Division of All India Radio brings to you program Employment News in association with the Publications Division, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. An effective platform for information on job vacancies, training programs, admission notices, results and career advice with experts. Every day at 4:20 p.m. on FM Gold and other frequencies and on our YouTube channel AIR News Official.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
Welcome back. You're listening to the morning news. Pakistan Minister Fawad Chaudhry has admitted his country's role in the Pulwama terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir. He told Pakistan Parliament that 2019 Pulwama terror attack was a major success for Imran Khan government.
पुलवामा में जो कामयाबी है, पुलवामा में जो हमारी कामयाबी है, वो इमरान खान की क़यादत में इस कौम की कामयाबी है। उसके हिस्सेदार आप भी सब हैं, उसके हिस्सेदार हम भी सब हैं।
This is for the first time a Pakistan minister has admitted what India has long maintained, that Islamabad directly and indirectly encourages and supports terror groups that target India. In reprisal for the Pulwama attack, Indian Air Force planes bombed a Jaish-e-Mohammed training camp in Balakot in Pakistan. Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed had claimed the responsibility for the attack. During the External Affairs Ministry's weekly news briefing yesterday, spokesperson Anurag Shrivastava again criticized Pakistan for failing to curb terrorism directed against India. In Jammu and Kashmir, 3 BJP workers were shot dead by terrorists in Vaikipura area of Kulgam district yesterday evening. The slain BJP workers were identified as Yuva Morcha District General Secretary, Kulgam, Fida Hussain Itu, Umar Hajjam, both residents of Vaikipura, Qazigund, and Umar Rashid Beg of Sophat Devasar. Security forces have cordoned off the area to nab the assailants. Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha has strongly condemned the killings of the political workers. He expressed anguish and said that the perpetrators of violence are the enemies of humanity and such cowardly acts cannot be justified. He said that law shall take its course and the guilty shall be dealt with sternly.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has condemned the killing of 3 young BJP Karyakartas, Fida Hussain Itu, Umar Rashid Beg and Umar Hajjam in Jammu and Kashmir. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said they were bright youngsters doing excellent work in Jammu and Kashmir. He said his thoughts are with their families in this time of grief. In Bihar, campaigning for the second and third phases of assembly elections is in full swing. In the second phase, 94 assembly constituencies spread over 17 districts will go to polls on 3rd of November. For the third and final phase, polling will be held on the 7th of November in 78 constituencies. Leaders of both NDA and Grand Alliance are addressing a series of election meetings and rallies in different parts of the state. In Madhya Pradesh, campaigning has intensified in poll-bound areas in 28 assembly seats. Senior leaders and star campaigners are holding election rallies. All these seats will be voted on November the 3rd, while election results will come on November the 10th. A report.
Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan is leading the campaign with Union Ministers Narendra Singh Tomar, Phaggan Singh Kulaste and Prahlad Patel on the BJP side, while former Chief Ministers Kamal Nath, Digvijay Singh, senior leaders Sachin Pilot and Kantilal Bhuria addressing rallies for Congress candidates. Meanwhile, a Joint Chief Electoral Officer Mohit Bundas informed that so far liquor, vehicles, cash and other materials worth ₹19 crore have been recovered in 28 assembly constituencies of the state. On the other hand, total of 348 sensitive areas have also been identified in these assembly constituencies. Out of these, maximum 159 are in Morena, 81 in Gwalior and 40 are in Bhind district. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
Maharashtra School Education Department has released a government resolution GR directing 50% attendance for teaching and non-teaching staff in all schools. More from our correspondent.
As per the standard operating procedures pertaining to COVID-19, teachers can be called to school for work related to online learning or other academic businesses. Schools have been asked to ensure that they sanitize their premises and regularly check temperatures. Teachers have been instructed to follow safety guidelines like wearing masks, following physical distancing. Even as teachers have been asked to attend school, physical classes will not resume for students at least until October 31st. Similarly, schools need to follow the policy of staying home if unwell for teachers who are feeling sick, especially those who are above the age of 50 years. Nivedita, AIR News, Mumbai.
The nation will celebrate the 145th birth anniversary of India's Iron Man Sardar Patel tomorrow. The day is also celebrated as Rashtriya Ekta Divas across the country. In the run-up to the event, All India Radio News brings to you select excerpts from the speeches of the Iron Man of India from its archives.
हमारा एक कर्तव्य है कि जिस मोहल्ले में हम रहते हैं, जिस शहर में हम रहते हैं, जिस नगर में हम रहते हैं, हम एक खुदा की औलाद है, एक ईश्वर की प्रजा है। हम सब एक माँ बाप के फर्जंद है, इस प्रकार हमें रहना चाहिए।
News Services Division of All India Radio will broadcast a special program on the life and times of Sardar Patel titled Rashtriya Ekta Ke Shilpi in its program Spotlight at 9:15 p.m. tomorrow. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official.
The U.S. economy grew at its fastest pace ever in the third quarter as a nation battered by an unprecedented pandemic started to put itself back together. Third quarter gross domestic product, a measure of the total goods and services produced in the July to September period, expanded at a 33.1% annualized pace. Markets reacted positively to the news, with Wall Street erasing a loss at the open and turning mostly positive. Increased consumption, along with solid gains in business and residential investment, as well as exports, fueled the third quarter rebound. Eid Miladun-Nabi, the birth anniversary of Prophet Muhammad, is being celebrated with religious fervour in different parts of the country today. Various organizing committees have decided not to take out Milad processions in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, Milad Mehfils and Sirat Majalis will be held adhering to the COVID guidelines. President Ramnath Kovind and Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu have greeted people on the occasion. In a message, Mr. Kovind said, Prophet Muhammad gave the message of love and brotherhood and led the world to the path of humanity. He said, Prophet Muhammad wanted to build a society based on equality and harmony. In his message, the Vice President said, the Holy Prophet showed humanity the righteous path of compassion and universal brotherhood. Mr. Naidu said, Miladun-Nabi is an occasion for family and friends to come together and pray. He also urged people to celebrate Miladun-Nabi in a modest way due to the pandemic by strictly adhering to COVID-19 health and hygiene protocols. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has greeted people on Miladun-Nabi. In a tweet, Mr. Modi hoped that this day furthers compassion and brotherhood all across. In IPL cricket, Chennai Super Kings won by 6 wickets against Kolkata Knight Riders in Dubai last night. Earlier put into bat, Kolkata made 172 for 5. Nitish Rana made a superb 87 in 61 balls. In today's match, Kings 11 Punjab will clash with Rajasthan Royals in Abu Dhabi.
And now let's take a look at the weather update. National capital Delhi will have a misty sky. Minimum temperature was recorded at 14 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 31 degrees Celsius. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, minimum temperature was 14 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while maximum will be around 31 degrees. City will have a mainly clear sky. In Srinagar, sky will be mainly clear, becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. Temperature in Srinagar will hover between 2 and 21 degrees Celsius. Leh in Ladakh will have partly cloudy sky, becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. Gilgit will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. Temperature will hover between 4 and 24 degrees Celsius, while Muzaffarabad will experience mainly clear sky.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. All papers mention Pakistan's minister's admission of the role in Pulwama attack. Hindustan Times writes, Pak Minister admits Pulwama terror role. The Asian Age headlines with the minister's quote, Ghus ke mara. Pak Mantri brags about Pulwama attack. The press has also noticed the gruesome killing of a French woman in Nice. The Times of India reports, man beheads woman, kills 2 more in terror attack at French church. The Hindu writes, 3 killed in French church attack, adding, knife attacker shot by police while being detained. In view of the deteriorating air quality in the national capital, Centre brings in an ordinance to tackle the problem. The Tribune writes, ordinance to curb pollution in Delhi. The Asian Age reports, Centre brings new law, 1 crore fine, 5 years jail for violators. The Hindu headlines, Centre sets up commission to tackle NCR pollution. High cutoff for medical admissions expected as scores in NEET soar, writes the Times of India. And finally, now Delhiites can register pollution-related complaints on an app. The Indian Express writes, register complaints on Green Delhi app.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Arogya Van and Arogya Kutir at Kevadia in Gujarat today. Finance Ministry extends income tax exemption under LTC cash voucher scheme to non-central government employees. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar stresses need for diversification and resilience of supply chain in the post-COVID world. Pakistan Minister admits Islamabad's role in Pulwama terror attack. U.S. economy registers a record growth of 33% in third quarter of current fiscal. And in IPL cricket, Chennai Super Kings beat Kolkata Knight Riders by 6 wickets in Dubai. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a great day.